Welcome back to Most Imaginative Bartender. Obviously, still coming from my apartment. Normally this is a cocktail competition, but this year, because of COVID, we wanted to take the time to inspire you at home and hopefully get you to enter again next year.
Well, we're gonna show you some videos. In these videos, we're gonna show you the 12 most imaginative bartenders. We're gonna have a deeper look into their creativities and their creative outlet and their passions.
And today we're gonna be checking with David.
David
Yee from Columbus, Ohio. And his creative outlet is writing. And when you think about writing, it's really a hard thing to get your mind and your thoughts onto paper.
And especially in cocktail competitions, so you know, while you're doing your job, writing and the way how you express to yourself is extremely important.
And that's it. So should we see what David has to show us?
Well, let's do it.
Let's do it.
The act of writing is physically putting your thoughts on the page. And when you put your thoughts on the page, you can organize them, you can edit them, and eventually you can share them with others in a way that a lot of people don't have the tools to do otherwise. I'm David Yee, I'm from Columbus, Ohio. I'm here to talk to you about my creative passion, which is writing. I think that storytelling has always been something that's kind of had my back. I grew up working in an office, I grew up touring with bands, and when I had free time, I would always turn to writing. Especially for myself, the writing helps me kind of get out of my shell. It helps me talk to people in a way that I wouldn't know how to do without the art form. It's the same reason why I bartend. It kind of forces me to be a more social person. It forces me to share my experience with other people, and it allows me to be creative. We use stories as a way to translate our human experience to share it with other people. So the writer's only job is to take something they know about the world, something they know to be true, and to put it on the page. So my writing process, I usually start in my head. I have an idea and I let it kind of marinate for a few days. And then when I have some time, I'll take a notebook out and I'll jot down thoughts, I'll jot down ideas. It could be something as little as a line of dialogue. It could be something as big as an entire character map, a character's design. And eventually, when I have like a pretty firm grasp on what I want the story to look like, then I sit down at my computer and I start typing. When you have an idea for a story and you get that first word down and you get those first, it's like this adrenaline rush of like, I'm the smartest person in the entire world, like I'm the most creative person, until you hit that first roadblock in which you understand why the story isn't written yet. And for me, it's all about confidence and kind of bravado when I'm writing. Like I let myself do whatever I want on the page. I don't think that limiting yourself is helpful. But then it's also about being humble and understanding this isn't working or this needs to be better. You sit there with your thoughts and it gives so much confidence to like create a good sentence that sounds good, that is functional. Yeah, it's a pretty wild spectrum of emotions. I think writing to be a professional writer is often a really unhelpful way to pursue the art form itself. I almost think about it like meditation. And I think a lot of people who do write the most consistently are just people who use their journal, and I think that's great. I think telling yourself the story of your day is such a huge way to process any uncertainty, to process your feelings of the day. And so I think writing should be looked at more as a practice as opposed to a profession. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope you learned a little bit about writing. I think writing is a lifelong pursuit and it's something you can interact with as little or as much as you want. But ultimately, I think everyone should write to share their stories, even if it's just to explore themselves, you know? Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate you.
Wow, David.
David's great. I love it. I love how he's able to make it so simple, something that is very not simple.
Completely agree with you. Writing, you know, the art of writing, the art of sharing your thoughts and your ideas by just writing down. And you know, it's amazing because you don't need to be a writer to write things, you know. And it's amazing how you transform this as a creative outlet and then make a competition out of this and then create a cocktail out of this.
It's beautiful how he brings it down to the core too, which is just jotting down ideas. I think I've always wanted to be that guy that writes every day, writes something, always plugging that. And I've never been able to do that. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that I make it bigger than it is in my head. I'm always seeking this perfection, but I love the idea of just, you have an idea, write a few things. That's it, just write a few things. maybe you come back to it, maybe it grows, maybe it stays there, maybe it's something completely different. But
maybe you're just trying to write your speech for the competition, right? Yeah. And you don't know what to say, so just try to write something, right? Write something and then go back, then write something and then go back. This one is a creative outlet. This one can be a creative outlet also.
Completely, completely. And you can see how that influences so much of what he does. And hopefully this inspires you. I mean, writing as a creative outlet is something that everybody knows about, but I think it's always a big thing. So hopefully it inspires you to take a little bit of time to do a little writing of your own, or perhaps a little reading of other people's creative outlets. But yeah, thanks for joining us, and see you on the next one.